Okay, so obviously a big question for our times is should I use AI in my marketing and how to use it? Yes and no, in a way. So it's kind of people obviously ask us, are you using AI now to say write blogs and things like that? Yes and no. So this is the good way to use because the problem is because AI becomes easy, people do it and you can knock out a blog in 10 seconds. But that blog will be rubbish. So it's just awful. This is how I would use AI. So say if I'm doing an article or a blog or something like that, I need to do a bunch for some content marketing. I want to put it on my website to help get up Google, bit of thought leadership and things like that. So yes, I will use AI as a starting point. So I'm not going to go write a blog for marketing that clients have found helpful. Whatever comes out is rubbish. It's all about prompts. You probably would have heard the word prompts now with like ChatGPT and things like that. So basically, you ask it, give it a prompt, it will write something, and then you give it another prompt to improve, and then you give it another prompt to improve. When I do it, I tend to not. I have a list of prompts now. That once I've got good ones, I've got a list, but there's still about 30 there. So when I start something, I would have asked it about 30 prompts until it's getting to a point where I'm kind of happy with it, and then I'll just edit it and change it. So what people think, has it saved me time? Not a crazy amount, but it got me rolling quicker, if that makes sense. Because to be fair, there's nothing worse than looking at a blank screen and thinking, I need to write a helpful bit of content or a helpful email or whatever. Then, or website content for the pages, but that can be terrifying. So it's just looking at a blank screen and hoping that it comes good. So I'll do a little bit of thought beforehand, as if I'm just about to write it anyway. You need to do. Abraham Lincoln had a really good saying for if he was going to cut down a tree, and he only had an hour, he'd spend 50 minutes sharpening his axe, which basically is just an analogy for research. Do you know what I mean? When you're writing something, I want to really look at who's the audience, who's going to read this, what's really beneficial to them, blah, blah, blah. And what I'll usually do is write 10 headlines, which ones sound the same, sound right. Not sound the same, sound more interesting, usually talking with the team or talking with the client. Then I'll pick the best one, I'll put that into ChatGPT, and I'll add a bit of prompts. So this should be aimed at this audience. I want this type of tone to it. I want to make sure it's including this information. I don't want it to be full of bullet points, but I want a couple of bullet. So I give it it's not just a sentence when I give it a prompt. It's a big bunch of the first one is usually quite hefty. Then it prints stuff, and what comes out is rubbish. So then I look at what's included. So then I've got another prompt which basically says, okay, you now need to make it more, see if it's more matter of factly, is because ChatGPT always has the same, and all of them all have the same structure. You'll notice at the beginning it always says, in this blog, we're going to talk about such and such. There's an intro, then there's a couple of subheadings, each of those got bullet points, and then it says, in conclusion. So there's a prompt to get away from that structure. It can be, maybe make it more story structure. Start with a bit more. Your tone needs to be a bit more relaxed and friendly, as if talking to somebody over the phone. And then it does it again, and that's not quite right. And I give it another prompt to say, right, remove these bits and concentrate more on. I remember, I had one prompt, was it yesterday or something, where I was kind of saying basically, stop talking about the service and make it more the benefits to them. Here are some of the benefits, and things like that. So you keep chipping at it. How I look at it, and this is a good way of looking at AI. AI is not your copywriting expert getting on with things for you. AI is your PA when you're coming up with the ideas. So imagine in a meeting room, you've got a PA typing, and you're circling them because you're the ideas person. You eat an apple and you're kind of, okay, this is what I want. I want it to be a blog about 10 ways people can improve their website. Here we go. And you give them some information. Well, okay, go and do that. And then they start typing and they come out with a draft. And you're like, no, that's not right. What you need to do is this. Does that make sense? It's that you've got a PA who's writing it for you and trying their best to meet your brief, but you're the ideas person walking, circling them. And then what else I want is maybe if we make it more about this, that, and the other. That's where the AI is a relationship to help your marketing easier. If you think of it like that, I think AI, people are thinking of it wrong. They're you get a lot of, there's two people. There's some people who think, brilliant, I don't have to do anything now. Oh, ask a sentence blog and I'm finished. They're the people who think it saves all the time and I don't have to do anything anymore. Those guys are going to have loads of terrible, terrible content and everybody will hate it and people will know that you're writing it with AI. There's other people, there's marketers who are like, oh, it's taking over our job. It's like, no. It's helping make your life a bit easier. It's not really saving your time, but it's making your life easier in a way, especially if you hate typing the thing up. Because I'm one of those people, I'll be fully honest, I love coming up with the ideas and planning out a structure of a campaign, but then you've actually got to sit down and type it out. And you're like, oh, here we go, this is mind-numbing. That's where the AI comes in. But again, with this assistant, you got to think of them as somebody who doesn't know your company. It's their first day on the job, shall we say? And you're trying to tell them what you want. And if you think of it that way, your prompts become really good. Treat it like an assistant who's given it a go, who's kind of got some knowledge and they've done a bit of research. So they hear, oh, okay, mock-up, what do you think of this? Then you've got it and gone, that's not very good. This is how we fix it. Prompts. So, yeah, use it. Use AI. It will help make your idea and help turn it into something a bit better. Especially if you're not a very confident copywriter. You can just be the ideas person, feeding it. But what you do know, if you're not a very good copywriting person, you should understand your business and you should understand your audience. So your job is to feed to the AI, no, my audience needs this. You need to talk more about that. Do you see what I mean? No, you're not talking enough about the benefits or how this thing fixes the problem. This is how it fixed the problem. Go away and write it again. So it's like that. It's like it's an assistant who's giving it a go, saving you time from actually typing it up, but they're constantly showing you drafts. And then you ask prompts and you give them feedback until they get it pretty right. When you do that, AI can produce something which is world-class copywriting. But you see how it might take a couple of hours, it might take an hour or so to get there. That's the difference.